Hello, how are you doing today?
Good.
Good? All right, so we are going to get into our story. You might not remember, but the last time we were doing this, maybe you do, we talked about a different story. This story was called Tom Thumb. No?
I didn't do this one.
Okay, so Tom Thumb was a story about a little guy about the size of a thumb, okay? And I actually made a Venn diagram chart about that. So I'm gonna show you that in a minute, okay? But before we jump into this, I want you to think about the name Thumbelina, okay? Pause and reflect on that name. And tell me in just a second, maybe what things come to your head about somebody named Thumbelina, okay? Okay, so that was a really silly answer, that you think that Thumbelina, the first thing that comes to your head is that what?
A big fat thumb.
A big fat thumb thumping
Just
around,
like,
right? Like
just
Tom
like
Thumb.
Tom Thumb.
Yeah, they have silly names. But okay, I'm gonna get you started. I'm gonna actually share the pictures with you so that you can look at this with me at the same time as I read it, okay?
Okay.
All right, I want you to be careful to listen, okay? Listen very carefully and hear how Tom Thumb and Thumbelina might be similar, okay? All right, first page, Jameson. First page, there we go. Once there was a woman who wanted a child more than anything in the world. At last, in loneliness and sorrow, she went to a wise old woman and spoke of her desire. Jameson, why did the woman go to see the wise old woman?
Because she wanted to tell her desires.
Do you
to
remember?
have a kid.
Yes,
child.
good. I can tell that you're listening very carefully. Give me 5.
Kaboom!
Oh, kaboom.
Kaboom!
All right, that's as easy as winking, said the wise old woman. Take this seed and plant it in a flower pot filled with good, rich earth. Water it carefully and guard it very well. The woman did as the wise old woman had said. The first time she watered the seed, a large and brilliant flower sprang up. It was still a bud, its petals tightly closed. The woman bent to kiss the flower, but the moment her lips touched the silky petals, they began to open. All right, scroll to number 2, the next picture, okay? All right, this says, the woman could not believe her eyes. There inside sat a tiny little girl. She was perfectly formed, as graceful as the flower from which she'd come. When the woman held her, she discovered that the tiny girl was scarcely the size of her thumb. Scarcely, Jameson, do you know what that means?
It means like she's scared, but she's like happy.
Okay, that's a good hypothesis of that word. Scarcely actually means barely, like kinda, like not really or almost not. All right, J-Mo, that was awesome. So I'm gonna ask you another question, okay? So let's talk about settings. You know that the setting means what in a story?
It means where they are at.
Good. So
Like if we're at the park.
like if we were at the park, that would be our setting, right? Right now our setting is right here at this table. So could you tell me one of the settings from the story with Thumbelina?
A lily pad
Uh-huh.
and a rock.
A rock? So yes, I do remember a lily pad. Do you mean the shell?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, good job. What about, let's see. What other story can you think of that has a lot of settings?
Dogman.
You like Dogman. That's right. That story has settings all through the book, right?
Mm-hmm.
One comic there in this one, the next chapter in there in another setting, right? Good job. Okay, Jameson, last question I'm going to ask before we do our Think, Pair, Share. So we know that folk tales they kind of teach us something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that there's anything that we can learn from this story for our own lives?
Like, little people can make a big difference.
That's so perfect. Yeah. Little guys can do big things, right?
Not only big boys.
Yep, not just the big boys. Just got to try, right?
Yeah.
Good job. All right, let's do our king's pair share, okay?